Ladies and gentlemen, the second episode of the 214 Sports Show. Very glad to have you guys. We got Courtney on
Yes,
my
sir.
right,
Yes, sir.
and under me is Joseph.
Let's go.
I'm TJ. Let's talk some Cowboys, Rangers. Let's talk some Dallas sports.
Yes, sir.
Let's run it back. So, I'm going to start this off with this day in DFW sports history. Today, on September 1st, 2015, the Rangers defeated the San Diego Padres 8-6 behind a four-run seventh-inning rally that ended with Elvis Andrus stealing home. The Rangers had Prince Fielder hit a home run in the first for his 18th home run of the season, and the Rangers improved to a 69-62 record on the year, putting them only 2.5 games behind the first-place Astros. Of course, the Rangers go on to win and clinch the AL West on the last day of the season that year. So that's what I kind of had. Thought it was pretty interesting. They said that was his fourth time that Elvis Andrus stole home in his career, and that September 1st, 2015. That was only like 7 or 8 years into his career, man. He was stealing home pretty frequently. I didn't even know about that.
I did not know he had that many
Nah,
by
no clue.
2015.
I thought that was more of like an Odor thing. I've seen Odor
Yes.
do it a couple times. I don't think I've seen Andrus do it.
Hey, people forget how speedy Elvis used to be, but stealing home though, I didn't know about that though. It's pretty
It's kind
crazy.
of ironic that that's like what happened today in DFW sports history, considering like that's probably what we're gonna need like this season. And even Prince Fielder, I don't know about y'all, but every time I see that name or I think about Prince Fielder, I think about his ESPN body issue, and it kind of like it
No,
just
wait.
it's just
Really?
wild to
That's
me.
what you think of the
Well,
first?
like not in that way, but it's just like, bro, like yeah, he really did that ESPN body issue. It's crazy to me.
No, that is pretty insane that he would agree to that, and the ESPN had that idea. But I
He's
mean,
man. And
Great player.
his retirement ceremony did really mess me up a little bit. Or
Oh my
his press conference that did mess me up a little bit.
His
That was pretty sad.
his kid's playing now, right? Like his kid
Oh
is
yeah, his kid's
yeah,
supposed to be pretty good. I
yeah.
don't know where his kid's at right now though. That's going to be something that we could follow up on later in the episode or something, because I don't know where he's at unless you know, Joe.
I actually don't. But one of the craziest facts about his career, of course, is that his dad, Cecil Fielder, also played in the MLB, and they both finished with the same amount of home runs by the time they retired. That fact is always crazy.
that is kind of
I
crazy.
had no clue about that.
No clue.
I think it was like 319 home runs. Crazy.
I still think the craziest sports stat to ever live was that one year for the Mavericks where Raymond Felton, JJ Barea, and Darren Williams. I think it was those three. They were the point guard rotation for the Mavericks, and they all had the same exact birthday, same year. They
Oh
was
my
I
sometime in
actually
June
didn't know that.
1984. They were all born on the same day, same year, all three of them.
I don't remember that. Wow.
I know. And I met Raymond Felton. Met him through the Canes drive-through.
Your boy
Great
Raymond
time,
Felton.
man.
What a random.
I love when he was here. I don't know about you. I love when he was here.
No, yeah,
There's
it was
something
fun. It was
about
fun.
yeah, there's something about being in like a 6 hour shift, like hating life, and then all of a sudden like Raymond Felton comes up in his like his Mercedes truck, man, his Benz, and it's I don't know, man. I was like, "You're Raymond Felton, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, yeah, yeah." I was like,
Bro just want to get himself a caniac combo, TJ.
he ordered like 4 or 5 box combos. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie. I
my
mean,
God.
That is crazy.
I'm not
Makes
gonna.
sense
I'm
though.
not.
Makes
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
though.
Hey, he deserves it, man. He had a great career. People kind of forget about Raymond. But anyways, so I got the trivia here, and this trivia kind of follows this day in sports history. So I got after clinching the AL West in 2015 on the last day of the season. The Rangers went on to play the Blue Jays in the ALDS, eventually losing in five and one of the biggest win or lose games in MLB history. That's with, of course, Bautista's bat flip. Pains me to say it, but it is very iconic. Um, But my question is, who was, and if Courtney, if you get this right, honestly, I think I'll put pizza press on me for everybody tonight after Crossfire.
All right,
Uh,
let's
my
see.
question was, who was the starting pitcher for the Rangers in Game
Oh,
5
shit.
of the ALDS
I know this. I think I know.
against
I
the Blue
think I know
Jays?
this. I think I do know this.
Mm,
I really do think I
damn.
know it.
It's a good question.
I
I think
could
so.
I could do I could choose like two guys, I think.
I'm gonna have to
Either
hear Joe answer first because he seems confident, so I might have to piggyback off of him again. I
Two
have an answer in
guys.
my head, but it's probably not correct, so I'm gonna have to hear Joe first.
When I first thought of the question, I was thinking either two people too. I
oh
think we're
that's
probably thinking of the same two.
I think I might have this.
Are you gonna
My
make your guess now, or do you want to
no,
wait
my answer later on.
Oh
later
yeah,
on?
yeah, okay,
Okay, that's
okay.
good. All right, we'll do that.
Okay,
We'll do
well,
that.
I have no chance there.
So, without further ado, let's get into some talk. So we got the Cowboys. I'm gonna start with the Cowboys, even though it's their off week. But there's still a lot of things going on. You know, just had the 53 roster announced, 53 man roster. Had some cuts, had some trades go on, and so I want to talk a little bit about that. You know, of course, we got Trey Lance, a couple of these notable stuff. So Trey Lance is obviously the most notable one. I mean, there's a lot of people who've already talked about it. Got trading Kelvin Joseph to the Dolphins and cutting Jabril Cox. So I just want to say, like, I mean, what do y'all think was the most surprising transaction for both of y'all?
I mean, it has to be the acquisition of Trey Lance. I mean,
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that at all. I was in the middle of just, working some high school football. I see that notification you sent, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got Trey Lance. I didn't know we were even in the
Yeah, pretty
running for him.
crazy.
I didn't even know
I
we
don't think
wanted him.
anyone did.
But I guess in the long term, I kind of respect it. I was shocked in the beginning, but I kind of respect it in the long run. Kind of pressures Dak. I think he's probably going to be the backup spot. I don't know if Cooper Rush is going to be the backup now, but Trey Lance, still a very young quarterback, gets a fresh start, gets to leave San Francisco. Um, Now enters Dallas into another legendary franchise and gets to back up Dak Prescott. Say Dak has, a rough go of it. We can insert him maybe. But it definitely would be like, a good way to pressure Dak in the long run. And so I think it's a nice backup move and a fresh start for a young kid in Trey Lance. But I also was shocked by the cutting of Malik Davis. I didn't think he was going to get cut really. I thought we could have possibly carried three or four running backs and he could have been on that list, but it seems that they value our other running backs in the lineup now. So that's what I've had so far.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the obvious choice was the Trey Lance trade for, especially for like just a fourth rounder, considering how much the Niners gave up to originally get him. But obviously, that's just how the business goes.
Three first
Um,
round picks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ridiculous. They just got fleeced. But I think another one that was kind of crazy to me was Jabril Cox, because they literally just lost a linebacker. So it's like kind of weird that they went another route. Not only did they release Jabril, but they also released Malik Jefferson. And so I can see why they released Malik Jefferson. I think Jabril, I feel like they gave up on him. I liked what he was doing in the preseason, but at the same time, there wasn't really much improvement on what he was doing in other preseasons as well, and just like his career overall. So I can see why they released him, but he for sure is going to be a hot commodity. And yeah, I think the Malik Davis one is kind of shocking just because I expect them to keep him. But when you have so much running backs on that spot, there's not really much that you can really do. You had to make a decision somehow, some way. So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about the transaction so far.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We'll talk about Lance for a little bit because, that was definitely the biggest transaction that happened,
Yeah.
obviously. So, I mean, I think it's kind of funny, um, because I mean, my first reaction to this trade was obviously that this was some competition to Dak. We kind of put that on the poll for the Instagram and Twitter 214 Sports Show, where we talked about, is Trey Lance eventually going to replace Dak this season? And so, I mean, it's obviously kind of Dak's contract extension's coming up. So this is obviously kind of a move to impact Dak in a way. Dak's getting impacted in a way. But Jerry Jones he said in an interview, he said it didn't cross my mind, period. This is a real quote by Jerry Jones. It didn't cross my mind, period, about the impact here regarding Dak. End quote.
Now, now why is he lying, bro?
He's one of the biggest cappers in sports,
Come on,
so
man. Why are we
you
lying?
can't really say
I
can't
mean,
really take what he
this
said.
man
Yeah,
has no shame,
no
clearly,
shame.
because I mean, you obviously know like what you're trying to do here. I don't know why he's trying to just lie. Why can't you just be straightforward about this? And the fact is,
Yeah,
it's crazy that Dak didn't even like get to know about this before it happened. I know like Jerry's the big time owner, president, and GM. Kind of the whole Jones family runs the business as a big family, but I mean, you could at least talk to your quarterback too before you even make like a trade like this. I mean, this is a big deal.
it
And then
is.
you want to act as if like you just have no idea what a reporter's talking about when they ask you that question. I just don't know about that. I don't know why Jerry Jones is trying to play dumb right there. He's trying to troll, obviously, and so I think that's kind of a weird decision on his part.
It's kind of like stupid, or it's kind of like what the Packers did with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. Not to the extent that the Packers did it, but it kind of is kind of like that situation where you're kind of, you get this awkward kind of backup situation where it's like, oh, well, you kind of, you got this high profile quarterback. I wouldn't call Trey Lance high profile actually, but he's third overall pick just 2 years ago. He's still super young, still has all the potential. So it's like obviously this is kind of a move. You're not just planning on training him so he can become his best at another team. This is a business.
Yeah,
You trade for him, you want him to play for your team. So it's kind of I mean I don't know if he takes over for Dak if he struggles or if Dak gets injured. I honestly don't know if he has the job over Cooper Rush as the backup QB still. I mean, we still need to talk about that. What is Cooper Rush? Do we think if Cooper Rush is going to win more games than Trey Lance if Dak were to get hurt or replaced? Because I think that it's a possibility that Cooper Rush still might be the better backup, at least for this year.
I mean, you could argue that he has, but if we're just going strictly out preseason, I might be taking Lance over Rush. Cooper Rush did not play that well this preseason, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest. I mean, Will Greer outplayed Cooper Rush, and we cut him. So,
yeah. Real
Sure.
Grill
Cooper Rush,
stinks.
it would be nice if Cooper Rush was, playing like how he did while backing up Dak last season, carrying the load as Dak was hurt. But looking at this preseason, it looked like Trey Lance was playing way better than him. Cooper Rush's accuracy was not there. He just was not getting the ball out quickly in the pocket. I don't know if he would beat out Trey Lance this time around.
Yeah, I honestly thought not Cooper Rush. Trey Lance was outplaying Sam Darnold at the Niners, and they still went with Sam Darnold as a number two behind Brock Purdy. So it's kind of weird. I don't know what like we're not seeing with Trey Lance that like Kyle Shanahan, the Shanahan family, like was seeing for them to trade him. And so I don't know if like I also think that Cooper played so good last season. But he did get outplayed by Will Greer, and I think Will Greer is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm not shocked that he got cut. So I would say you probably have Trey Lance at that number three spot, but it is crazy that Jerry Jones would say that, considering like if you make a spot at the quarterback position, of course you're gonna think about who's already at that spot. I know Dak's contract ends around like what 2025. That's when he's a free agent, and so it's
I think
interesting
so.
to see like what they're planning here, because even like usually Jerry Jones is pretty unpredictable, so I don't know.
He is pretty unpredictable, I'll tell you that. Hey, shout out Will Greer, man. He did just get
Nah,
signed
nah, nah,
by
nah.
the Cincinnati Bengals this morning. So he is not a free agent. He is still on an NFL team. So good for him, man. It was that
Evidence to that guy.
last
He was
overtime showing.
balling.
Yeah,
Nearly one game got him
cooked
that
up.
contract, I swear.
They said, "Bro, we about
Hey,
to cut you. Either you can
hey,
play good or you can play bad."
you show up to the biggest game of your life and you do that, man. You deserve another contract. I'll
Good
give
for
it to
him,
him,
Yeah,
man.
you're
man.
not
That was
lying. You're not lying.
that was his biggest game of his career. So good for him. To many more.
Mhm.
Um, But yeah, I also want to. So we also had. So according to ESPN's Adam Schaefer, that Miami Dolphins traded cornerback Noah Igbin. I'm gonna have to learn his last name for sure. But another cornerback from the Dolphins to the Cowboys in exchange for cornerback Kelvin Joseph. Um, Igbenogany, I'm just going to say it with that, was the number 30 of overall pick in the 2020 draft, while Joseph was a second round selection in 2021. Um, I'm honestly, I could have seen us getting rid of Kelvin Joseph. He was not doing good. Also, preseason, he was still struggling just a little bit. Again, just kind of like Jabril Cox, didn't take the step that everybody kind of expected him to take. So I don't know, man. I don't know if SoundCloud is going to be where he needs to go his career wise.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm hoping. I'm cheering for him though. That wasn't a diss. I was just trying to make a good joke. I don't want him watching this and getting angry. But like
Probably
I
a good
think
rapper.
uh, but what are your thoughts about Kelvin Joseph and Jabril Cox for that sense? I mean, Cox will likely be back on the practice squad if he clears waivers, but you know,
I,
who
I
knows
was
if he
hopeful.
will.
I was hopeful in Jabril Cox when we first got him. Being that this linebacker core can get better depth. It's gonna be young, but we now see Jabril Cox cut at the age of 25. He's kind of getting up there. You're starting to get a little weary, maybe. But in terms of like Kelvin Joseph, from what I understand, he's like in the same boat as the player we acquired from the Dolphins. Dolphins fans feel almost the same way like we do about Kelvin Joseph, how this guy is young, doesn't have his priorities straight, and does not reflect his play as well as he should at his age and as well he's been in the league. So Kelvin Joseph now is 23, and so, I mean, you obviously kind of touched it a little bit with your joke and how he has maybe not set his priorities straight always, and how he's kind of put rap sometimes in the forefront of his career. And we drafted him second round to be a nice, commodity as a DB for us, and has not been really the ideal start we were looking for in his career. So I hope it can be a fresh start for him in Miami. I hope we can get a good few plays out of Noah, our future player now. Not tight, I think he's a corner too. But I can't wait to see what this does for both players actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Kelvin Joseph's time here was pretty controversial, just off field issues that we definitely don't have to get into. But I would say that trade to me is kind of just like a nothing trade. Honestly, it's like we trade a disappointment for another disappointment, and so like Noah. Like Joe said, has kind of like the same like value to Dolphins fans that Kelvin had to us, and that cornerback spot and this secondary spot in general on the Cowboys is like super, super competitive. So I don't really see where Noah's gonna fit. I know he's a little bit more athletic than Kelvin was, so maybe they're gonna try to do more with him there. But yeah, Kelvin really wasn't stepping up when other people were. So good luck to him in his career. Hopefully Noah kind of sees that this is his opportunity to step up and prove it, especially as a former first round pick. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent about this trade. It's just yeah, it that's what I've been reading. Seems like it was just both needed a change of scenery. Kelvin Joseph, man, like I kind of just like lost hope for him last season. Just all the trouble he put even on special teams. I just knew that he couldn't I don't know. I just felt like he wasn't just going to be a reliable cornerback. I mean, he couldn't. He was getting in fights on special teams like it was no other, man. I felt like every single time he was getting some kind of penalty. So I mean, yeah, kind of indifferent about those. Um, I want to bring up this real quick. Um, this one was kind of fun. I found this on a Bleacher Report article. So per ESPN's Jeremy Fowle, a group of opposing coaches and executives said that they would favor Nick Bosa over Dallas Cowboys star Micah Parsons as the best edge rusher in the league right now. So, I do want to say that they were saying that they favored Nick Bosa over Micah Parsons as an edge rusher, not a defender. But What are your thoughts on this?
I can
Um,
see what they mean. What they mean. I mean, there are some stats that vindicate Nick Bosa as a better edge rusher for sure. But Nick Bosa coming off his first DPOY last season. Micah Parsons, as we've been hearing the past few months, is gonna switch primarily to being an edge rusher, like almost full time, as much as Nick Bosa. So we're not gonna
mhm.
see as much coverage as we've seen from him the past few years. Covering slot receivers, covering other receivers, covering more of the middle of the field. I look forward to seeing more Parsons edge rushing, seeing more sacks possibly that are coming from it, and more TFLs. But I mean, I can see what they mean by that when they say he's a better edge rusher. I wouldn't be shocked. That's not a crazy take to me, honestly. So,
Yeah,
mm,
I'm not shocked. Go ahead,
yeah.
Courtney.
Yeah, for one, Nick Bosa is currently going through contract negotiations right now. So if he does get traded, New Orleans is always open for him, and they'll accept him with open arms. Secondly, yeah, I can see why they say he's a better edge rusher. Me personally, I'll just take Parsons just because Parsons has that flash to me. But I mean, Nick had more sacks last year, I believe. So it's just like, and he won his first DPOY. I can't really put Parsons over him right now just because I mean there's really nothing showing that I can. But Parsons does is more special than me. We're got to see this year because this year definitely Parsons wants that DPOY. I think he's gonna fight for it for sure.
Yeah, both got defensive player rookie of the year, and I mean, I do, yeah. Parsons definitely does have just a little bit more spark. I mean, Cowboys fan here. Obviously, I'm gonna pick Micah over
Yeah.
Nick Bosa. They're so similar in a way, kind of just how dominant they are in defense, how much they stand out, how much attention they get from the offensive line and stuff. So, I mean, Parsons did get the edge on the list for the NFL Top 100. Parsons was ranked sixth. Bosa was ranked ninth overall.
Didn't know that.
Cowboys
But I
bias.
do. Hey, I mean, it's real. It's real. The NFL wants, I mean, the
That's
NFL
crazy.
wants
I
it,
didn't
man.
know that.
But hey, Parsons, his durability issues sometimes, like, talking about last year, he was obviously very hurt at the end of the last season. You could see it. There's clips of him walking to the locker room where you know he was just hurt. He was playing through it. And, I don't know how that's going to change going into primarily an edge rusher, Is it going to get worse? Are these injuries going to pile up? Can he handle this? Can his body and weight handle it? Because he's not really he has the body of a linebacker. So, I don't know, Bosa does have better stats. He does have more sacks. He does have more pressures. Um,
I believe
but
more
also Nick
TFLs
Bosa
too.
does. I'm sorry?
I believe more TFLs too. Might be wrong there. I think he is more. He edged him a little more in TFLs.
You might be
I'd
right on
expect
that.
that from a DN.
I
And
mean,
he
Nick,
was probably doubled more too throughout the year.
Hmm.
yeah, he definitely was. I mean, he does have a better defense around him. They do have injury
Yeah.
problems. They've had injury issues for the last couple of years, that 49ers defense, but they did seem pretty healthy by the end of 2022 for the defense. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm not too smart about the 49ers. I just know that they love beating the Cowboys, and it's very painful. Um, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I would pick actually. I really wouldn't be able to pick between Nick Bosa and Michael Parsons if I had to start with a player on my team. If I had to draft between one of those two.
If I'm
If
picking
I would
off
have
your,
to, yeah.
go ahead.
There you go. Oh, if I had to pick between the two, I'm picking Micah just because I think he has way more versatility in general. Because I mean, at his rookie year, like they were using him as like that, like he'll even be in the nickel sometimes. Like he really put him anywhere. Then we realized like, okay, like Micah needs his hands in the dirt. Like that's where he's gonna do the most special things. But honestly, like if we put tomorrow, if he goes out and he plays that linebacker position, he like the zone, he's still gonna be just as special as he is with his hand on the dirt. I don't think Nick Bosa can do that. So I'll pick Micah personally.
Yeah, he's just so versatile. They obviously use him as a Swiss Army knife. I knew he was good coming out of college, but I didn't know he'd be this versatile coming out of college. And so his value comes from the fact that he can just blitz from literally anywhere. He can blitz from the A gap, blitz from the left side, the right side, can cover your small receiver, can cover your biggest receiver. Nick Bosa obviously can't do that, but I'm anxious to see what Micah does this season. There hasn't been a back-to-back winner of the DPOY award since Aaron Donald in 2017, 2018. So I can expect a different winner this year. I think Michael Parsons can do it if he really pushed for it.
Hey, if Nick Bosa holds out, I mean, there's going to
Yeah,
be
sure.
not a lot of competition ahead of Micah Parsons. I mean, I think it's pretty, you know, I think he is one of the best defenders in the league. It's pretty obvious. But switch the gears. Let's talk about the Rangers, the team who does play this week and have multiple games this week. So we are recording on a Wednesday. So as of right now, there's a three-way tie for
Hmm.
first place in the AL West division. And so perfect. It's so perfect. I hope all of them either win or lose tonight. So by the time we publish this Thursday morning, and it's oh wait, no, August has 31 days. I'm wrong. I want September to start with a three-way tie. I think that's perfectly fitting. You know, final month playoff push.
It's gonna be
Everyone
crazy.
starts 0-0, or at least the top three teams. The Mariners, Astros, and Rangers. So the Rangers right now on a two-game winning streak, beating the tanking Mets. Um, they have they won 2-1 last night. Let me just recap a little bit. They won 2-1 last night, and they did win Monday night as well, coming back for the first time after trailing in the eighth or ninth inning. So congrats to the Rangers. They finally pulled through. Shout out Nate Lowe, man. He's the one who was saying at the start of the year it's our division to lose. So he's backing up his talk. I respect it. But you know, I, do you guys are you guys confident with this team winning these games? Because if we're talking about the Mets here, all right, and the Mets that Quintana is a good pitcher, which is what they had last night, and they're gonna have Senga tonight or last night, depending on when you listen to this podcast, and um. I mean, but their batting average, man, their batting order. I swear, every single player in that batting average was under the Mendoza line last night. I swear, all of them were like 181, 145. Like it was crazy. I mean, the pitching did its job. They only allowed one run in the bottom of the ninth, of course. But this offense, what's going on with them? What do y'all think?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not confident at all. I mean, in the long term, I told y'all last week I saw this downfall coming.
You did say
This
that.
is what I expect as a Rangers fan. I knew it was not gonna be easy, but I'm just gonna read you the stat I saw on Fox Sports Baseball Monday morning. This is, of course, after we blew the 6-0 lead um, a few nights ago in Minnesota. Of course, the game that Jonah Heim hit a grand slam in the beginning, and we lost 7-6
Mm-hmm.
in this game. They posted this on Fox Sports Baseball on Monday morning. It said the Texas Rangers have 25 blown saves at the time compared to 24 converted saves. I almost fell to my knees right there because I knew we were not finishing games, but my goodness, that bad 25 blown saves. If you get half of that, I mean, look where we're standing in the division right now. If we had just half of those blown saves made to converted saves, it's just unbelievable. Who can we trust to close out games for good? And I said,
That's
like
what's
to
so
myself,
angry me.
I said to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna complain about last night. And great pitching performance by Andrew Heaney. Great start overall. Clearly a pitcher's duel. Offense was not as prolific as they could have been. I said I was not gonna complain, but that game was a shutout. I know y'all saw this. This game was a shutout. Aroldis Chapman actually comes in after Will Smith. Will Smith in the setup role, as he should. But if Ezekiel Duran is not scoring an insurance run right there, that's another blown save last night. Another
Mm-hmm.
blown save. And, Aroldis Chapman, I actually like what they were pitching him right there as the closer. That's what I wanted to see from this team. I want Will Smith to be the setup guy, or Brock Burke to be the setup guy, left-hander to be a setup guy really, and then Aroldis to be the closer. But I mean, we can't even get a 3-up, 3-down inning in the ninth inning. I mean, he
Yep.
gets two easy outs, and then he comes in for the third out, and then home run right center field. So now that run does not score in the eighth inning. and we don't get that insurance run, we're looking at another blown save. And he actually blew that same 1-run lead against the Diamondbacks a week earlier. I'm just wondering, like, how can I trust this team? Who can we trust?
I
Everybody
know,
gives up home
right?
runs in this bullpen. They all give up home runs. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So it's my little
And
rant, but
and again, I'm gonna make the same point I did last week with the Diamondback game with Chapman giving up that home run. Should it really be a blown save if he's giving up the first run in the ninth inning? This offense needs to wake up. But anyways, yeah, I digress.
I would say, as Texas sports fans, there's one thing that they share quality over any team is that they are very impatient. And I think that like sometimes we just need to smell the roses sometimes. I saw Bashi say that compared to last year, this team is in a way better spot than they ever were. I mean, I think they have already won way more games than they did last year. And so I
absolutely.
think that like, we should be proud of this team a little bit. I know it sounds crazy, but like I hear a lot of complaining going on. It's just like this team is fighting for that wild card spot. That losing streak was terrible. But that Mets game, I know it's just the Mets. Thank you for those 2 wins. Of course, we're gonna win those games, but it shows that like this team. I hope it's a microcosm of what the full season could be. That this team could actually pull together some wins, and when it comes down to it in the clutch, that they can pull through. Because those last couple games and like at versus Seattle and like versus the other teams in the AL West are gonna be like so crucial. I don't even care about just those games right there are gonna be so crucial. So I hope they can pull through. I hope they can pull through. But I believe them. I don't know why, but I kind of believe them. But that's just me.
Yeah, man, I'm just hoping that, these like the ninth inning rally to have the comeback win on the first night on Monday. I mean, these people, they're doing it against this Mets closer that has like a 4.50 ERA. When we go into the playoffs, these teams aren't going to be putting in,
Yeah,
these players in to close the
true.
games, to win the games. They're going to have people who are much better with much better stuff, much better control. Trevor Gott, who I believe was the closer for the Mets this season, is he's a very high strikeout pitcher, but he does give up a lot of hits, a lot of runs, obviously, 4.50 ERA. So, I mean, the thing is that these playoff pitchers, they're going to have a lot of strikeouts, but they're not going to have a lot of runs. And this team loves striking out, especially in high volume situations. So, I don't know. I'm going to go back to the bullpen real quick, though, because Joe brought it up. I mean, I want to talk about Jose Leclerc first of all. Of course, there's just one game. But he didn't allow a run and close the game out. Obviously, he knows the situation. He knows everybody knows this about the Rangers bullpen. They blow games, and he goes out there. He almost blows it. He didn't get the 1, 2, 3. Of course, he had to walk somebody. It's not a Jose Leclerc inning if he doesn't walk somebody. Of course, he had to walk somebody, and then he almost gave up the 2-run home run like Will Smith did against the Giants that one game to to give the the AAA Mets the victory. So, I mean, I don't know. Do y'all think Leclerc's a reliable player? Do y'all think we could put him up as a setup man? Because I was thinking Will Smith. I don't know how much I want him as a setup man. I do like Brock Burke. I do think he's a good pitcher, but I don't think he's going to be that reliable. We don't put him in these reliable situations. We usually put him in whenever we're down. So putting him in whenever we're up is it's a whole different situation. He could completely tank just like the rest of these pitchers. But I mean, I guess we could try him out. I think right now, I think I would put Leclerc either as the setup man or Brock Burke. I know it sounds insane, but we don't have a lot of options. I'd definitely put Chapman as the closer. I think we can all agree Chapman is the closer,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
Okay. All right. I think we all need to and honestly, I don't even think the Rangers know who the setup man is either. I mean, come
it's
on. So,
unbelievable, man.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's either Leclerc or Burke. And I don't know. I kind of want to go with Leclerc. For some reason, I have this soft spot with Leclerc because he's been on this team for so long. He used to be really good. He used to be reliable back in like 2016, 2017. Crazy, long time ago. And
That's
so I think I think he could easily come somebody, give him some confidence. I hope that gave him a lot of confidence because I know he gets a lot of crap from the fans. I don't know if he reads it. But maybe if that gives him some confidence, he goes back
Usually
out there, gets his
unfans.
control down a little bit. Get that control down and it's fine. What do y'all think?
I think, dude, we've been giving him so much mercy for a long time on this team, like you said, bro. He has such good stuff, but he just struggles with command still, and it's crazy because he is a veteran in this game, and I cannot believe that still. Like, I mean, he can hardly throw strikes consistently. He didn't give up a run, as you said, in this past losing streak, but man, he struggles to throw strikes consistently, and it sucks because he's such a tricky pitcher. He has such nasty stuff. But like you said, I think I can see him more as a setup man. If you look actually in the beginning of this season, he was slated to be our closer. That first series against the Phillies, he was actually closing out the games. But he had a little bit of struggle again with command, and so it moved in Will Smith, who actually had a pretty decent first half of the season before the All-Star break. And the thing
Definitely.
is with our closers, it looks to be they need a ridiculous amount of cushion. A ridiculous amount of cushion heading into the ninth inning so they don't blow a save. So you look at Will Smith in the first half, most of his saves were actually coming with having at least two or three runs for support because he would give up at least a run sometimes. He was not getting a lot of saves with a run in a run game. So our relievers for some reason need a ridiculous amount of cushion to close out a ball game. There are obviously multiple ways to get a save, but I wasn't hopeful. I'm still not hopeful in this bullpen in the long term. I think offense is gonna have to step it up way more because they've gone through a bad down spiral recently. So
I've never seen a bullpen struggle so much with control and walking. It's like, what is the bullpen coach even doing, man? How are they warming up? It's got to be like a organizational kind of thing right now because
and to
it's
top it
crazy.
off, Cole Reagans. I don't know if you saw what he did last night, but
I
like
don't want to know. I don't want to know. Did he do something good, man? Because I
he
don't
is
want.
masterful. He has been masterful since he's left
I'm
there.
sure
He's on the
Taylor
Kansas City
Hearn's been
Royals
great for
now.
the Royals as well.
Unreal, this team. I mean,
I do want to, yeah.
it's just Texas Ranger baseball, sadly, but
Definitely do want to point out Leclerc's setup being a setup and Chapman. So Leclerc, he has 21 walks in 43 innings this season. Chapman, 28 walks in 49 innings. So, it is a pretty risky setup,
I mean, yeah,
especially with how much power that these players give up on some of these pitches. Leclerc
yeah.
and Chapman both give up good amount of hard hit balls. So anyway, sorry, Courtney.
y'all can't be like a little bit proud of Leclerc. I mean, he came out dry. He wasn't expecting to play in the ninth. Like he came in, he hasn't saved the game since like April, like start of the season. So I mean, like for him to come up at that veteran spot and just do what he need to do, y'all can't be like just a little
Courtney,
Bro,
Courtney,
if you
this
knew what
is
I've seen, bro. If you knew what
you're,
I've
you're
seen,
too much
bro.
of a new fan to realize like this is
Oh shit.
this is nothing new. I've
Nothing
watched
new.
this team for too long to be optimistic about this team, damn it.
I feel it. I
The
feel
pain
it.
I have seen, Machado. Oh my God, bro.
That's the trivia. The trivia question today is literally about our failures because we don't have enough success to be talking about it. So, I mean, come on. Anyways, yeah, I also, by the way, is Corey Seager the best hitter in baseball? I want to talk about that. Is Corey Seager the best hitter in baseball? I'll put some stats out real quick. So he's now qualified for the AL batting crown, by the way.
Finally.
Just got through. All he needed was 4 plate appearances last night. So he leads the AL in batting average, first of all, at 346, I believe. He also barely has beat out Otani for on base percentage. He's at 410. Otani's at 409. Otani's I don't it I haven't really listened or dived into the Angels because they're not really that scary this season, and obviously they're
Never,
done
never will.
for after what happened. Um, but I don't know. Is Otani coming back for batting or is it just pitching? Is it both
Just
batting and pitching? Or is he
no.
done for pitching?
It said he was done for pitching this year. He's still
Okay.
batting though. He's actually doing really good batting recently.
Yeah,
But
because he's still first in slugging in the AL.
yeah, ever since that UCL tear they found, he actually rejected surgery, which that could hurt him in the long run because he's trying to get this new contract. He's not going to be with the Angels, obviously. There's just no way. He's probably
I
going to the
can't believe
Dodgers.
that. You I didn't even know that.
But
He
yeah,
denied surgery.
yeah, I think Corey Seager um, is probably the most well-rounded hitter in the game today, and well, at least in the AL. Mookie Betts is having a great year. Ronald Acuna is also
It's
having a
true.
great year. But I
Still so
was not
true.
expecting Corey Seager to slash this year like he has. After last season, of course, trying to prove it after signing that crazy contract along with Marcus Simeon, I was not expecting him to hit still around 340 at this time of the year. So it's been a pleasant surprise. You don't usually see crazy hitting like this from a middle infielder, but he's not your typical middle infielder. He's 6'4". He's huge. Obviously, has a pretty nice glove, but 346 at this time of the year, I was not expecting that. I'm pleasantly surprised. He has been the quintessential leader that we've needed for this team. He, along with Marcus Simeon, have been well worth the money thus far, I would argue. And so I think he's probably um, top three hitter in the game right now, maybe if not for sure top five.
Yeah, I think especially for the amount of games that he did play this year, especially where he's at, do y'all think that if he was maybe in like at the Dodgers or like maybe on the Yankees, like some other like bigger, even though DFW is a pretty big market, will he be talked about more because he is having one of the best seasons in baseball this
That's a
year?
good question. I don't think so, just because the Rangers have been in the news a lot about their
Yeah.
sliding and stuff, being first in the AL West. That's, I think they're getting the or the press release, People are talking about them. I don't know, but that is a good question. I think if you put him in like Judge's position and he plays this good for the Yankees, I think he does get more talk though. If it's like the Yankees, yeah.
I
Yeah.
do
I mean,
think the injuries have done him a disservice, though. He's gone to IL twice this year now. That first injury was brutal, considering just how unlucky it was.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously hurting his hamstring on the way to second, and then the
I remember
second
that.
one coming against the Dodgers, where he just was also unlucky. He slid and he just hurt his thumb. So it wasn't like crazy injuries that he was getting hurt off, or diving and just hurting his knee or something. It was just unlucky circumstances that have cost him games this year. And so I think more people would give him praise if they knew, or if he wasn't as hurt, but also if they just watch more Rangers baseball. I know we're not like the most popular team, but we've surprised some people this year. And I cannot believe we're actually, like, as of Wednesday morning, first in the according to the tie, because the Mariners have beaten the Astros more and we've beaten the Mariners more. So it's been an interesting year so far in the MLB.
Three-way ties are too funky, man. I'm not gonna look into it. The MLB can just tell me who makes it, man. I'm fine with that.
We'll see, man.
oh
We'll
man.
see.
But yeah, man, I think first of all, I do want to say this. We're running out of time for a little bit, so I might move on pretty quickly. But Corey Seager, I was very interested to see how the band shift was going to change how he batted. Because this shift against lefties has killed left-handed batting for a couple years now. And and it's not all just the band shift, obviously. He's just been overall a much better hitter than his first year with the Rangers. But what's interesting is that his first year with the Rangers, he had more pop than he's had in his entire career. He had over 30 home runs. He's done it a couple times in his career, but that was the most frequently that he's hit home runs. So it's really cool to see that he's kept this power because he still has a lot of home runs this season despite the low plate appearances. I think he's at 24 now, 20 something like that. So I mean, he's kept the pop and he's kept the hard hitting line drive. So he's not getting just home runs this year. He's getting singles, doubles. I mean, he's getting everything. We already know that. I think it's between him and Freeman as the best hitter in baseball right now, in my opinion. Luis Ariz, he was probably the best hitter at the start of the year. He almost had a 400 batting average, but he's kind of gone a little cold now. So yeah, I mean, I think he's top two in my opinion.
And the thing
So
is, though, last season actually broke the record for most home runs in a season by a shortstop. But he was also hitting like 246, I believe. It was sub 250.
yeah, he was
But
sub 250 last season.
Yeah, very shocking. But just contrasted, of course, with what he's doing right now because he has just surprised me completely. I didn't think he'd have this high of a batting average by now. So, pretty good season
Hmm.
for Seaton.
So real quick, do y'all think the Rangers win this upcoming home series against the Twins? Rematching the Twins at home.
I think
The
they
Twins are
will.
29 and 36 on the road this year. They're a lot worse of a team on the road, and we're a lot better of a team on home. We also have Scherzer first game, Montgomery the second, and Gray on the third. So, what are y'all thinking?
Yeah, but you actually brought up pretty much all my points. Our home and away splits are
My
obviously
fault,
set.
man. I'm on fire, I guess. You know.
Hey, you are. Yeah, that's the main. That's the main points you'd expect to bring up. Though our home and away splits, we've been way better at Globe Life Field in Arlington, and we're also going to pitch our best lineup thus far. Jordan Montgomery, of course, had such a great game last time in Arizona, but this should be a bounce back series against a team that you should not have lost a series against in Minnesota. We had a chance to win all those games pretty much, except of course a 12-2 ball game in Minnesota. But that should have been a series win that we're looking at. Um, Obviously the Twins don't play as good on the road, but I'm anxious to see this team bounce back. I'm ready to come back home for this team. So
Yeah, I see them winning the series for sure, and going through that stretch of September baseball, I expect them to continue with that momentum and finish the job.
Who wants to be the one to say that we sweep the Twins? Do I got
that's
to be the one?
I don't know if I want to go that far, bro. This team,
I'll
they're
I'll
still
put
kind of
my
sputtering.
I'll put my baseball credentials on the line. We will sweep the Twins.
Oh my
All
I
God.
got
right,
you.
that's respectable. You know what? I'm going with you, Courtney. We're both saying we're sweeping the Twins. All right, we'll come back next week. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm confident in them. So real quick before we get to the answer with trivia and some rapid fire questions, I want to bring up Luka Doncic in Slovenia real quick. Went 3-0 in the first round, came out first in Group F. They beat Venezuela, I believe. They also they just beat Cape Verde,
Happy
I
for
believe,
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Cape Verde.
like an hour
And then
ago
they
or
also
something.
got yeah, they did just beat them and then they also beat let me see real quick. I'm gonna look it up real quick. They also beat Georgia. I remember Georgia, Zaza, the home of Zaza Pachulia. Um,
Yuck.
so they're going out first in Group F in the FIBA World Cup. Luca's averaged 35 and a half points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Should the league be scared of skinny Luca? That's my question.
I think this will be the best version we see of Luka Doncic coming up next
Wow.
season. I think it will. His usage obviously is not going to be as crazy as it has been. Kyrie Irving obviously can help him out. Now I'm anxious to see what this team does to start the season instead of acquiring Kyrie mid-season. So they'll have a fresh start. Of course, the acquisition of Grant Williams, Dwight Powell looks to be still here for this team. For some strange
Hey,
reason,
Canada's doing pretty good too, by the
is
way.
once
So,
again
hey,
still here for the Dallas Mavericks. Um, and of course,
he'll
Tim
always
Hardaway is
be
probably
here.
going to be starting. Oh my God! I mean, he's just a constant presence. Like I said, he must have some dirt on Mark Cuban.
He has
I mean,
some
there's got to be some
Polaroids that
reason
he
he's still
has.
here, bro. I mean, my
Yeah, let me.
goodness.
Yeah, you keep going. You keep going. I got a great story though. I gotta tell it. I gotta tell it.
Oh my Lord, Luka Doncic. I mean, skinny Luka, they ain't ready for him. He's balling right now for Slovenia. So I saw a clip last night for him trash talking this guy. For some reason, people keep on trash talking him. He always shows out when people kind of like trash talk him and try to push him. Luka Doncic can take that, so I think he'll be the best he's ever been this year. Most well rounded, also.
Yeah, I think
Good take.
Luca tricks us sometimes though in that off season, like when he like looks amazing, and then when that season starts
That's what I'm
going, he
saying.
just
I
gets
get
like
what you mean.
the same
He
place
always
he
be
was
doing that. Same
literally
with
every
Porzingis.
year. Yep, same with Porzingis. So I think Luca. Of course he's gonna be great. Of course he's gonna be like top five MVP votes and everything. I don't know if he's gonna win MVP this year though. I think we saw our best Luca. Like I still think he's like in his prime, but like, and of course he should get better. But I don't know. I think this year is gonna be an interesting year for the Mavs because so I don't really know where Luca's gonna stand because like you said, Kyrie we got at the trade deadline, and so they haven't really like had that full year of chemistry, and we have so many young. They have so many young guys that they need to get like accounted for. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think Luca isn't got to do as much as a carry job, so I think he's gonna do it in the other areas like where he doesn't have to score because obviously Kyrie's there, and Kyrie's literally one of the best scorers that we've ever seen. So Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But Skinny Luca, I mean, it's what's it called? It's international play. Like there's some chumps on international play, so I don't know. We'll see. Like
Hey,
Mo Lau said, so
I'm never letting an off-season like training video to like trick me
yeah.
ever since I saw Mitchell Robinson act like the best like
Shooting
Allen
threes.
Iverson in the open court, bro. Like he was like I'm not letting any off-season video trick me at this point. It's
Or
not happening.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson out here playing like
He looked like
Kobe.
Rondae Hollis
Kobe. Oh my,
Jefferson.
he looked like Kobe.
Oh my God, bro.
I didn't even,
Wow.
that was crazy. Whenever they're like, yeah, this guy looks exactly like Kobe. And then like 30 seconds later in this video, it's like, actually, that's Rondae Hollis Jefferson. It blew
Oh
me
my God.
away. Like, I almost fell out of my chair.
Oh my God.
Absolutely
I love
ridiculous.
So
international ball.
before we get to trivia, I do want to tell this real quick. This is my favorite story about the Mavericks because I went to a game 2018, I believe. It was when we were really bad, really, really bad. Like we were like 3-14 at this time, and we're playing the Celtics, who were really good. Kyrie Irving was a superstar for them. They were on like a 10 wins, 10, 12 win game streak or 12 game win streak, something like that. So I got there early so I can get some autographs. I actually saw what's his name? The Red Mamba, the Boston Celtics legend. What's his name?
Oh, Brian
Scalabrine.
Scalabrine. Yeah.
Brian
Yeah.
Scalabrine. I saw him outside the stadium. You know, took a photo with him, and I was getting some autographs. And I had this own custom jersey my parents got me. It said Krillowitz on the back, my last name, and it had number 7 because that was my favorite number. So I was getting my autographs. Got Harrison Barnes, Salamejri, got Shamgod, and I got like Yogi Ferrell and all that
Shalametry is
stuff.
a
Salamejri, yeah, you know he was, yeah. That's how bad this team was. Is that was
Wow.
kind of a cool autograph. But Dwight Powell comes,
Oh,
man. And I got the front of the jersey face, and I had them all signed on the front. So he goes up to me and he's like, "Oh, this is my jersey. This is the first time I'm seeing my jersey." You know, he was like so excited. He
Oh,
was
oh
genuinely so
wow.
excited. And I was like, just like, yeah, yeah. Please don't turn it over, man. I'm a big fan, Dwight. Yeah, yeah. You know, it is. I was so
Uh,
scared that he was gonna turn it over and we're gonna have the most awkward like look at each other. You know,
Dwight
but
Krillowitz?
I wonder. I wonder to this day, like, you know, like this man probably thought, like, man, this kid had my first, this is the first time I've seen my, like, it probably meant so much to him.
oh man.
And, like, I was just like, man, you know, it's funny now just because of, like, the fact of Dwight Powell being on this team. Like, he's the only person from that roster that's on this team now.
Longest tenure
Wow.
Mav. Still, that is crazy.
It's never gonna end, man. I'm gonna be 55. I'm gonna be looking at the TV screen. I'm gonna see Dwight Powell starting game 5 of the first round.
Ridiculous.
With Louis
Getting out
Nash's son,
rebounded
yeah.
for the 50th year straight.
Crazy, bro.
So,
Hey, man.
anyways, let's get into this trivia. We're about to wrap up. So, I'll ask it again. The Rangers in 2015 kind of goes with this day in DFW sports history. So, after clinching the AL West in 2015, they ended up playing the Blue Jays in the ALDS. Of course, that series is known as one of the craziest series, most definitely in recent history for MLB playoffs. Talking about the 7th inning, where it took almost like an hour for the inning to end, and Bautista's bat flip, all the, you know, everything that went on that game. There's a lot of things, but a lot of people don't remember who was the Rangers' starting pitcher for that game. And as a clue, it was not Sam Dyson, the guy who threw the home run pitch
Yeah.
to Bautista.
Sam Dyson, tricky bullpen pitcher, of course. Blew the lead. I mean,
Can't
color me
ever
shocked.
get.
Color me shocked, I guess. But
I know, right?
it was a
Well, it
raucous
was really
crowd that night.
Andrews who blew that game. I'll be honest. Let's be honest. It was Andrews
Okay,
who kind
true.
of blew
Could
that
be,
game.
yeah.
3 straight errors.
Too many errors, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the lights were clearly too bright. But starting pitching, I believe it was Cole Hamels. I could be
Okay.
wrong. I think it was Cole Hamels.
I'm gonna
That's
go
what I
with
was
Cole
thinking.
Hamels.
I was thinking it was either one of those two, Cole Hamels or someone else. I'll let Courtney finish.
No, I'm probably just gonna go with Cole Hamels because I mean honestly,
You gonna
like
go Cole Hamels?
if you gave it to me, I probably might say you Darvish. So, and I know Yu Darvish was for sure not on that 2015 Rangers roster. So,
No, he
yeah,
was. He was.
he was,
He
he was.
was.
Yeah,
Then
he
I'm
That's
gonna
was.
what
go
I
Yu
was gonna
Darvish
say.
then.
I was gonna
I'm gonna go
say,
Yu
you're going
Darvish.
Yu Darvish?
I'm going Yu
Okay.
Darvish.
Not a crazy guess. Not a crazy guess.
No, it was not a crazy guess. When I first thought of this question, I thought it was either Cole Hamels or Yu Darvish. That's what I was saying. It was either between those two. It had to be Cole Hamels or Yu Darvish. The answer is, and I'm sorry, no free pizza press for y'all. It was Cole Hamels. So congrats, Joe. Congrats, one on one on
I need to get on the
trivia.
board. I need to get
Let's
on the board.
go.
So I hope
I
anyone
remember that.
who was guessing that, watching this video, I hope you got that right too. That's a little fun trivia, you know. I think I can't remember really anyone else on that pitching staff. That was kind of weird. That was a fever dream year. Fever dream season. They had Cole Hamels, Yu Darvish, and then they had like Colorado.
It was an interesting
You know who was
rotation.
Martin Perez was
Martin Perez,
probably
yeah,
one of the pitchers too.
for
So
sure.
Derek
Yeah,
Holland maybe. I don't know, man. It's been
yeah.
a long time. I think Derek Holland was still one of them.
Interesting
So,
team to say the least.
anyways, man, that's the trivia question for this week. Rapid fire question, just one rapid fire question. All right. So the Rangers, it's Rangers again. Rangers have a 28 games left of the season, September. All right. So, couple of the games they have. So let me just read the schedule out real quick. So they have a 3-game homestand against the Twins. All right. Then they have a 3-game series against the Astros, 3-game series against the Athletics, all at home. Then a 4-game road series against the Blue Jays, 3-game road series against the Guardians, 3 games home series against the Red Sox, and then the Mariners, and then closing it out on the road against the Angels and Mariners. So a lot of series left still, and there's 28 games left. Predict the record for September.
You said 20 games left?
28.
28.
28. Predict the record is what
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to say.
go. I'm gonna go with
28 and 0.
16. Yeah, I wish, bro. 16-12. I'm gonna go with that right there.
Okay.
So, this schedule, I mean, this looks brutal. I'm not gonna lie to you. A few gimmies there should be in there. Of course, with the A's, maybe the Guardians we go to Cleveland, but Red Sox, I don't know. Astros, I don't know. Mariners to close the season out, a 4-game uh uh road streak you have
Scary
to.
stuff, man.
I mean,
I know.
my goodness, that last stretch, going to LA to play the Angels and then going to Seattle to play the Mariners. I mean, we struggled on the road this entire season. Our season's gonna have to depend on that in the end if we want to make the playoffs. So I think we can get the nice home games in. So I'm gonna go with like 16-12.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little bit. I'm gonna go higher than that. I'm gonna go. You went 16-12. I'm gonna go 18-10. I'm good. I don't know. I have confidence in this team. I think even though the Mariners are the hottest team in baseball since middle of the summer, and the Rangers are one of the lowest ranked in terms of confidence and just ability right now, I still think that they're gonna pick it up after this win, and I think that they're gonna end that stretch at the Mariners with a good record. And I think like you said, there's a couple gimmies. But there also is those teams that are also fine for that spot. That Astro series is gonna be interesting for sure. I think they go 2-1, maybe, hopefully. And yeah, I think they're gonna end up about 18-10.
18-10. I think I'll go closer to Joe. I don't think 16-12 or 18-10 really wins us a division, but there's just so many series against good teams that like we haven't been able to prove that we can consistently beat in a while this
Yeah.
season. So I don't know if I would put so much trust just because they beat two AAA teams, or two games against a AAA team, and two close games at that measure. So yeah,
That is
I would
true.
have to say close to 16-12 probably. I don't want to even say I wouldn't want to say 500 because it's a playoff push and we have the starting rotation to make a good playoff push. But it's just the batting. It's the batting in the bullpen. I mean, I don't have any confidence in them. They don't have any reason to give me any confidence in them. The offense a little bit, but not really. So I don't know.
As prolific as they've been in the beginning, they've kind of spiraled off that offense, but this bullpen, man. I mean, it's just been
They were
unbelievably
never
bad.
there.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
So anyways, we're probably nearing up to close to an hour on this, so I
Yeah.
don't want to keep anyone off for any much longer. I also have class in 30 minutes, so um, Courtney, Joe, y'all go ahead, put your socials in, let people know where they can find y'all.
Yeah, Joseph underscore Duffy 99, both on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow me there. Um, me and TJ primarily post for our 214 Sports Show, which you can also follow on Instagram and Twitter. It should be at 214 Sports Show. And like I said before, Joseph underscore Duffy 99, also on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, Instagram's gonna be C lives the life, not Claus the life. C lives the life. It's gonna be in the links below. My Twitter's gonna be C underscore Machani. And then the Instagram's like Joe said, 214 Sports Show. And Twitter too.
All right, there we go. Yep, 214 Sports Show on Instagram, on Twitter. We're also going to be on TikTok. And we're
Yeah.
also going to be on Spotify. I don't know, you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, but we're on Spotify and YouTube as well. Yeah, my socials, TJ underscore Krulowitz on Twitter, TJ.Krulowitz on Instagram. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode. It was a lot of fun, a lot of talk. Good talks, a lot of good talks. So without further ado, this has been TJ, Courtney, and Joseph at the 214 Sports Show. We'll see you guys next week.
See y'all.